So this is an unusual situation. In the most recent monthly AMA, there was only one question posed. So that's going to be the subject of this video. FunWithFacts had asked, how far do property rights go in an Ancap society? For example, what if a person needed to steal some bread in order to avoid starving to death? And this is one of those classic challenges we get. I wouldn't say this is down at the level of a lifeboat scenario, since this is a very real kind of issue that people in an Ancap society will face. The short version is, property rights are absolute and inviolate. No one has the legitimate right to take the property of others, no matter how great their need. It's also a very short-sighted question. What about the people you stole the bread from? Have you made it more difficult for them to feed their family because you stole the bread? Or if you stole it from the baker, which is the scenario we'll go with, how much have you damaged his business? At the very least, he'll be faced with charging everyone else more money to cover the costs. This is very real. Shoplifting is a big problem in stores, and part of the price you pay for the groceries you buy covers the losses incurred by all the theft. So we absolutely, by principle and by ethics, need to consider property rights to be absolute. No matter how great your need, you don't have a right to anyone else's bread. However, there's also such a thing as mitigating circumstances. This guy's not a career criminal. He's not a mobster or a drug addict or anything. Consider how a jury might view the situation. Yeah, he's guilty, but he's not that guilty. Do we really want to punish the guy too harshly for this? There would be every room for mercy here. At the same time, you don't want to embolden him. If he gets away with stealing the bread, he'll think he can get away with it again, and that's a slippery slope. Need can always be expanded by sophistry, and once you say it excuses a violation, that line becomes very hard to draw. So mitigating circumstances don't create a right to someone else's property. The act remains a violation. The easiest way is for him to make restitution. Make him pay back the price of the bread, and maybe a bit more to cover extra harms that come from this, such as lost business from the bigger prices I mentioned. A loaf of bread is $2 these days. It wouldn't be anywhere near that much in an Ancap society because there wouldn't be inflation and all of this other ridiculous government intrusion, but let's go with that price. Minimum wage is $7.25 federally, so $2 is about 17 minutes pay. So, make the guy work for the baker for half an hour or so, sweep the floors, clean the oven, etc., so he doesn't have to pay his hourly worker to do it. If that can't happen for whatever reason, some other arrangement could be made. It may be the case that this very issue causes the creation of a trade organization where people can take whatever odd jobs they want if they need to pay something off, or just need some extra money for whatever reason. So he'd go to that place, take on an odd job for half an hour, and the trade body would pay the baker out of what he made. But a better answer is that he'd be far less likely to need to steal the bread to begin with. To start with, without a government taking over half your wealth in taxes, over half the rest in inflation, and regulating the wealth out of well over half the rest, you'd have 10 times the purchasing power you have now. And that's a lowball. Imagine someone who has a job that pays just $10,000 having the purchasing power of someone currently taking home $100,000. And even if, for some reason, he were still one of the unfortunate ones, that means he would have far greater options for charity, mutual aid, or other community-based options to avoid starvation. But all of that can only happen if property rights are fully respected without exception, even as we recognize mitigating circumstances. Well, FunWithFacts, I hope that answers your question. And if you'd like to join the AMA, and there are usually more questions than this, go to donate.bogosity.tv and use the links to become a regular supporter at the $5 level. On Patreon or Subscribestar, look for the pinned post, or subscribe at the Bogosity Discord and post it in the AMA Questions channel. And as always, like, subscribe, and share to keep this channel going, and also give any other donation you can to keep me doing what I do. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay strong and be free.